Hello everyone, another beautiful day in Sydney where we look at the world from afar across the oceans. It's good fun. Okay, big news for you today, I think, anyway, an insight I have is BlackRock. If you think the US stock market is making new all-time record highs, it's Apple with a massive, $1 billion and more buyback. And they've got an AI story now, so their stock goes up. So there's always these individual stories, tech stories, that drive the indices up a little bit. But the US 500, people said it hit a new record high. It's just still trading the range of the last week now. So it's sort of closing a little bit higher in that range of the last week, and people saying, oh, it's a new record high, but it hasn't actually made new highs, the US 500 index. Or if it has, it's a few points, not much more. So we're seeing these constant individual stories drag the market up, the indices up, but most stocks are actually in decline. So coming back to BlackRock, now, if everything was okay with the US economy and with the world economy, BlackRock, with their fingers in absolutely every pie, would be shooting to the heavens. But BlackRock isn't doing that. It's been falling for the last few months, and at the moment it looks like it's on the edge of a cliff to really drop off and move into a little bit of a savage bear market, which makes perfect sense when you realize the US economy is actually slowing badly. We just had the NFIB Small Business Confidence Index come out in the US yesterday, and people said, oh, it's at 5-month highs. It's at 5 months highs with like the inventory number it hasn't been this bad since 1981. People don't want to hold stock. Also, it's below COVID lockdown. Small businesses in America are still below COVID lockdown depression type levels, which is why only a small proportion of small businesses are even thinking of doing any hiring in the foreseeable future. And a third of them are thinking of raising prices further because their biggest complaint is inflation and also financing. And that makes sense as well, that the banks are slowing down lending to businesses because they see the writing on the wall as well. So you're going to have stocks that come out with an AI story, catapult higher, or buy their own stock to catapult their stock price higher so that the senior executives, the C-suite, can get their bonuses. I mean, they're using shareholders' money to say, look how well our share price did, give us big bonuses. It's amazing. But this is what's going on. So the bearish view on the US economy, I'm very confident of, unfortunately. The Federal Reserve will not be cutting interest rates. If it cuts interest rates before November, it's purely for political reasons to help support the most unpopular president in America in the last 70 years or so, according to latest polling. And it will be a political move. For the moment, small business is telling us across America that inflation is still a serious problem. The Federal Reserve can't cut rates. Oil is starting to move back up again. It had a good drop, it's starting to move back up again. There's going to be continued inflation, unfortunately, even as the US economy winds down. So that's a very difficult situation. I think interest rates should be cut, but the group think of these central bankers, Western central bankers, is if there's inflation, we raise interest rates, as I said yesterday, like a 1960s textbook. The other interesting thing about yesterday, again, I come back to the price action was not enthusiastic. And this is at a time when the Federal Reserve is meeting. And usually when the Fed is meeting, the market rallies into that, is volatile on the day and rallies afterwards. That could support some markets like Australia, which has had a good sell-off, which we forecast. It may have an update today, or it should have an update today, see how it goes. If the Australian market doesn't have an update today after the recent sharp falls, there's really a structural shift taking place and fund managers are getting out. I tend to think there will be enough still believers out there who will buy the Australian market back up a bit. But I think everyone needs to be aware that your overall investment portfolio is at risk. So you're going to have these individual stocks do well. If you're trading those stocks, good for you. Just be aware that your broad equity portfolio is probably under pressure now and will be for some time as the US economy slows, the Australian economy slows, geopolitical tensions aren't going away, still a lot of problems in the world, still a lot of pain, and that's being reflected across consumer behavior in general in the Western world. So bearish equities, Western equities, accepting that some AI stories or momentary memes will see some stocks take off, have a big lift. I think Apple had 7% yesterday, and that drags your indice up. But when you see that the indice went sideways, even with that Apple performance, then it's obvious that the broad market is in decline, very, very weak indeed. You need to know, if you're an established investor and you have a big investment portfolio, that other front runners with big, broad portfolios like BlackRock are seeing their stocks heavily sold, and maybe it's people on the inside seeing the writing on the wall as well. But that is a big warning as to, and it perfectly accurately reflects what I see in the real world economy. So keep an eye on that BlackRock share price. There will be people coming in there to buy on occasion. The other stock, I'm still bearish, Tesla. It should have a bounce now, but really it's a stock that could be in trouble given its concentration in electric vehicles, which may only be around for another 6 to 8 years before they're fully replaced by a different technology with zero resale value virtually for your current EV. And I warned people a year ago to get out of their EVs while they could at a good price. I'm all for the planet. It's just that electric vehicles aren't good for the planet, and most of them burn fossil fuels off the main grid at 3 to 5 times the rate of a petrol car. So you're not doing anything for the planet. All right, that's enough for me on all of that. I'm going off on a tangent. Don't forget to look at PropX24. Don't forget to look at cliffordbennett.com.au. The don't forget thing might have sounded a little condescending, didn't mean to. Anyway, let's all do well. I hope you have a fabulous day. I'm not being negative. I'm being positive about the opportunity to protect yourself in a coming bear market. Have a great day.